Batcave podcast. He's a clothing designer, a skateboarder, an artist, a friend to all, a great photographer. JGRIFF, ladies and gentlemen.
I never know how to introduce myself to people. Like when people ask what I do, I'm like, I make stuff. I don't know.
I make stuff and I make it happen. You know, and I think one of the earliest things I've seen from you is a video of you in a school gym with a skateboard.
Yes.
Walk us through the skateboard video.
All right. So, quick backstory. I've been skateboarding since I was 10 years old. I ran a skateboard camp a couple towns over from me for like 6 years, and basically through that opportunity I got to work with some of the people who worked at like the skate park I kind of did that through, and they invited me to kind of perform and help like teach younger kids about skating. And basically that lesson was like, no matter who you are, how old you are, what you look like, where you come from, you could skateboard and make friends and no one will judge you. You can really build a community. So after we kind of teach the kids more about that, we would do a little skate demo. And to close out every show, I would jump over teachers. Like legally, we can't jump over kids, but teachers, it's
fair game. It's game.
It's game.
It's on site.
So it's like, it would be kindergarten through 6th grade, and like these are little kids. They've probably never seen anyone even like ollie on a skateboard. Mm-hmm. So it's like you do a flat ground kickflip, and they're like, "Whoa!" And it's like, I'm gonna jump over your teacher. They're like ecstatic. They have a great time just watching that. But it's scary for me because I'm like, I've been doing this for a while, but like still, if I mess up in that moment when everyone's watching me, that's a little scary. But yeah, that's kind of how that happened, just doing the whole skating thing.
Dang. And I just saw a video of you recently skateboarding, so you still keep up with skateboarding.
Yeah.
And don't get injured.
I slammed pretty hard the other day. I had a shooter just flip after this. Pretty funny. But yeah, I still skate. I don't do it as often, of course, just because work and there's a lot of exciting things going on, but it's something I do like to do with my friends or even by myself. It's a good way to keep the cardio up, you know?
Yeah, it's good exercise. Now,
sure.
Before I guess maybe even after skateboarding, when did you become JGRIFF?
That was kind of something I struggled with for a while, actually, because in skating, I started to build a following on social media, and everyone knew me as Jordan Griffin, and that's my real name, by the way, guys. So I'm dropping the government. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But,
Batcave exclusive.
Exactly. But everyone knew me as Jordan Griffin, and then when I graduated high school, I started to, I think I dropped my first album in 2018, like right before I graduated, and I always had the nickname JGRIFF. My 5th grade teacher, he's the one who got me into skating and music, and actually I taught his son at skate camp the past 2 years, so that was full circle for sure. But yeah, everyone just called me JGRIFF, so when I had to pick an artist name, I chose JGRIFF. But then it became kind of difficult to choose what to post, and a lot of people told me make a different Instagram for music, have a different one for skating. But at the end of the day, like, I wanted people to come to my page for me, not because I do one thing or another. So I think that in some ways made it more challenging because I built a platform through skating, and then learning how to do anything, you're not going to be great at it. So I was posting stuff and like people didn't like it. They're like, oh, like you shouldn't quit skating. And like, guys, I'm not quitting skating. I'm just enjoying other things out in the world. And I think a lot of people tend to get kind of like self-conscious when it comes to hate on the internet. And I just had to motivate me. I kept on going, and I made a lot of songs, so I felt confident in myself, and that's what kept me going.
Yeah, no, that's really cool that, you know, there is that, like, I think a lot of people are like separate because someone's going to come for this page and that page and that page, and you have such an umbrella of what you do as a human out here. You know, you do the skateboard, you do the clothing brand, you do the music. And I feel like it doesn't feel like, you know, some people that have these different avenues, are partially in here, but this is really their passion. You feel like you're fully in all of them. Where does that come from?
I don't know where it comes from. I feel like if I do one thing too much, I get sick of it. So when I do all these things, I can't really say I'm more passionate about one thing more than the other. I will say a lot of people used to ask me, is it skating or music, or skating or design? And I would always be like, guys, you can't put me in this seat. Like, I can't answer that question. But to be honest, last week was my first time skating in Nashville. And I was sitting on the bench, just staring down at my board, looking around the park, and I'm like, I thought my whole life revolved around this piece of wood with wheels on it, and I didn't know what else was out there.
Yeah.
And I think in skating, I even heard my brother-in-law say this. He says he wishes he spent less time skating so he knew what else was out there. And when he first said that, I'm like, you're crazy, dude. Like, we had so much fun, and like, we had a great time doing that, but I just didn't understand that because I feel like I didn't really find me yet. And with skating, a lot of people were telling me like, oh, my pants are too tight, I shouldn't dress like this, I shouldn't do the tricks I like to do, to try to conform to what the industry wanted. And yeah, I think I just accepted like, I don't want to be what the industry wants, I want to be me. Yeah. And I was able to kind of disconnect from skating a little bit, and I think I needed to, because it allowed me to grow a lot personally and really find what I'm truly passionate about. Not that I'm not passionate about skating, but like, you could only really skate till you're in like your mid-30s, you know, and it's like, I'm already about to turn 26, so it's like the clock's kind of ticking, and yeah. I can't even jump down stuff like I used to anymore. I feel it.
Yeah, and I think something that skating does better than a lot of other things, and just I never personally was super into skating, but something that I've seen from afar is skating is a community. Like, people that skate have like, even if you don't skate with people, when you go to skate park, it's like a community of people more so than, it's not so much so like if you go to pick up basketball, it's like, I'm gonna like dunk on you, and it's like a competitive thing. Like, people at a skate park want to see you win, they want to see you land that trick. And I think so much of what you've built outside of skate parks has had to do with community.
Yeah, I think that's completely right. And I've met a lot of my closest friends through skating and going to different parks and going out in the streets and filming with them. I think the one thing that skating taught me more than anything is patience. Because there's times where I would try a trick for hours or days or months, sometimes years. Like, there's stuff now that I'm not skating every single day for 8 hours a day, I'm like, I've never been able to figure out this trick, and I'm like, oh, I could do it now. Like, I'm not so in my head. Like, I could just kind of break free from my muscle memory a little bit and just experiment and try new things. But patience is huge, and it's something I'm still learning and getting better at. But everything is going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
No, for sure. When did you go from skating to designing clothing? And what was clothes, and what was that process like?
So the clothing came a little bit later. I started doing cover art for people, and I think from college to now, I have a Spotify playlist with like all the covers I've done, or almost all of them. And there's like almost 800 songs in there I've done cover arts for.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
But yeah, in college, I would make music. I recorded. It was mini fridge, microwave, microphone. Recorded most of my songs in that setup, and I was one of the only people on campus who had a setup. So people would come to record, I would do their artwork. Word of mouth happened. I would start doing other people's artwork because they had homies in other states. And then I interned for Futuristic at Indie Amplify. He connected me with a bunch of people, and I just became the cover art dude. And then cover art turned into flyers. My weakest point was merchandise design. I could not design a t-shirt for the life of me. I would send so many to Futuristic, and he was not a fan, so I would just have to keep redoing them. And we ended up starting a clothing brand together years later called Tough Love, and it's kind of funny. Now I work part-time for Stevenson Ranch doing apparel design. Like, that's crazy how I was able to turn a weak point into a strength. And even thinking back to like college, that's a question that my professor would ask me, like, what are your strengths and weaknesses? And I didn't really know at that time because I wasn't doing the amount of work I am now. But merch design was definitely a weakness.
And what was there a piece that you made, or what kind of made you realize that you were like, okay, this isn't a weak point anymore for me?
I think I accidentally developed a style that people started recognizing. So when I would do all these people's merch for tour and stuff, people would be like, oh, so-and-so, who did your merch? I want to go through them. And then when people were hitting me, I'm like, oh, maybe like I'm not terrible at this anymore. Like it used to take me a bunch of tries to like land on something, and like you're not always gonna get it right first try. Like especially when the client doesn't really know what they want, they just want something dope. Like that could be anything.
Right, that could be any design,
Yeah.
and they might not even. It could be dope to a lot of people, but it might not be dope to the artist.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great question.
And now with working in Stevenson Ranch, we kind of talked earlier about how. Well, I guess I didn't identify it, but I could see the connection between another artist merch that you made between something else you've done before. How do you embody yourself, I guess, into making something for a clothing that's kind of already has its like design outlines already made, like Stevenson Ranch? Like it kind of has like a rustic feel to it. It has like
Yeah.
it has the sports logos. Like how do you put your stamp on that?
I think it just comes down to composition, texture. I'm a big texture guy, and my art director Cam, he's a real big texture guy. So it's cool to like be able to learn from someone who's more experienced and really just get to see how he does things, and that hypes me up to be around other creatives. So it's really cool just to dive into typography and just playing with buttons in Photoshop, because Cam never went to school for this, so he's just like, oh yeah, I just learned this over time, and I'm like, oh, I went to school for this and I had no idea that was possible. So it's like, I'll teach him some things, he'll teach me some things, and we make some dope stuff.
Yeah, it works out right there. Obviously, it's doing well for itself.
Yeah.
And then the third wheel, I guess, in the system is your music, which is crazy. I actually didn't even know you made music for a minute, and you just dropped an album, which is insane.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the process of dropping this album that just came out last week.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy. So the album's called Lemon Tree. It's in collaboration with one of my best friends. I talk to him every day, Alex Catronbone. He's the one. My first time performing was before I made music in 2017. I met him. Here's a crazy story. So I saw Futuristic live. This dude Zero opened for him. I listened to his music. I heard his producer tag, found his music. I went to their show. Alex opened. I DM'd Alex, and I'm like, dude, your stuff's dope. And then I remember being in high school, and he was like, yo, I shouted you out in a song. I'm like, what?
What?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, dude, like I've always wanted to kind of like do this. Like I write songs, I just don't know how to record them. I don't really know how to get started. What is mixing?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know.
Yeah, what is mixing?
And even for my first like couple albums, like Lemon Tree's my 10th album.
That's insane. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, I have a lot of songs.
Yeah.
But for the first couple, I didn't even know mastering was a thing. So everything is just mixed very poorly, not well at all. But like I just had to mix so many to kind of like get the process down. But me and Alex just like making music together. He lives somewhat close to me, like an hour and a half. And we never really see each other in person. Like if we're going to a concert in Philly, we'll link. But all the songs we made, except for Diva, which was the last song on the
That's
album.
the last one that was made?
That was the last one that was made, and the only song we've ever made in person together.
Wow. That's a good vibe. maybe more need to be made in person.
It's a good vibe, and I think that's why the whole Diva dance thing is so funny to me. Because we were just vibing out in the studio, and my homie Danny was over, and he was helping write and lay down some harmonies and stuff, and like we were just having a good time, and like I just hit record on my phone, and we were just filming, doing the gang vocals and just vibing out, and the Diva dance just happened, and
it was there. It was over.
that was
there.
it.
I think if you make music in a space where you're having a good time, it becomes infectious, and the people that hear the music are gonna have a good time.
I think so too. I think it's very clear for me to kind of pick up on like, oh, is this person actually having a good time? Or all music doesn't have to be a good time.
Right. It just
But,
are they in
like,
the emotion that they're trying to portray?
Yeah, it's like, can you really feel the emotion, or does it feel like they're reading something and it's not really like natural?
Yeah. A lot of artists go through this phase where they start making music, they're putting out music, and they're kind of just making what they feel in the moment, but they don't really know per se what their sound is.
Yeah.
I feel like over the course of the music I've heard from you in the last year or so, it feels like you've really identified like what your sound is. What went into like creating for you what JGRIFF sounds like?
I don't know what JGRIFF sounds like, to be
No?
honest. I was always curious to be like, if someone made a JGRIFF type beat on YouTube, what would it be? Because I did, before Lemon Tree, I had an album called Honey. I did a deluxe version too. Very poppy, very like guitar driven, pop drums. Lemon Tree, we were gonna make it like a 30-song album
Mm-hmm.
and just really just see how big we could make it. And that was our goal. Like, let's just write a lot and just have a big compilation. And I'm like, I kind of want to just curate, like,
The best of it.
in our eyes, the perfect, not even the best, just like the perfect summer playlist. Like, what would I just throw on and listen to all the way through? And that's what we did. We cut out, like, I don't think we made 30 songs with the intention of putting it on there. I think we were at, like, almost 20, and we cut, like, half of them. And then I'm like, I kind of want to do, like, one brand new one, and that was Diva.
Yeah.
But, I forget the question.
So maybe it was a bad question, I guess, because I think the songs that I've heard over the last year are summer focused. So maybe we know what summer JGRIFF sounds like, but there could be other
Yeah, so
versions of your sound.
so some of the newer ones, if you tuned into those are a little bit more personal. The album's called Bittersweet. It was actually my first tattoo. Last year, I had the hardest year of my whole life, and I didn't think I would be able to be happy again. And it feels super good to confidently say, like, I'm really fucking happy. I'm
Yeah.
super happy to be here. A lot of great things are happening. I'm finding my people, and I'm just so grateful. But in that year, I was just writing a shit ton of music. Like, all the Lemon Tree songs, and this album is 20 songs. And, like, that's a lot of
That's a
music.
lot. Yeah, that's a lot of music.
And all the Bittersweet songs are, like, really personal to me. And I made it for me. I didn't make it for anyone else. And they helped me. They helped me. They helped me. And they're just fun to listen to. And even the ones that are kind of sad, like, I'm able to take a step back and appreciate them, because I'm like, I'm happy this stuff happened because it taught me something.
Yeah. And when you're going through a year like that where it feels like just everything's against you, was there like a part of you, I guess, going into now where you say you're super happy, where you almost felt like jaded going into it just because of the experience you had the year before?
I think really the biggest thing for me was I knew there were two options. I could either fall into a really bad depression, or I could kick things into high gear. So last summer I really started like working on myself, taking time to myself just to like think, no music, going on walks, going on runs. It was my first time in my life going to the gym. I know I'm fucking jacked out
You've
here.
been putting it in. You've been putting the time in.
But yeah, I really started focusing on myself, eating better, and that naturally helps physically and mentally. And I just felt good. I started to like the way I looked. Not that I didn't before, but the older I get, not that I'm like old, but like I used to dye my hair. I would bleach it, dye it black, shave it, and like that was cool. And I wanted that like punky kind of aesthetic. But looking back, it's kind of like I felt like I was kind of hiding the real me. So I feel like super in tune with myself right now. And when I'm super in tune with myself, I'm able to just kind of write about real things, and it's definitely hard to put a lot of those emotions into songs because you don't want to just blatantly tell the stories and have it be like, so this happened, that happened. Like, you want it to sound artistic, but still create that emotion and be delivered in the way you have in your head. So it's kind of like a puzzle to put together.
Yeah. When you're crafting your music, are there artists that inspire you to make the music that you make, or is it kind of just you being you?
I think there's definitely influence. I never listened to mainstream artists. I always kind of listen to the underdogs, and now it's kind of cool because I feel like I know all the people personally that I've looked up to. But even before working at groups and SR and everything, like, I really looked up to Futuristic and Nick D and Mike V Wills, Ollie Joseph, all those guys, and like, now to know all of them, it's kind of like surreal. Um, but yeah, I listen to those guys all the time, and I think naturally some of those elements could transfer to my music. But I also think I approach my songs differently because it's not like I'm trying to make a song like them. I just kind of go with what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. When you're jumping back into stuff, like, I guess, so you put out an album, right? And you, like, anyone who puts out music is, at least the majority of artists that put out music is like, all right, the next month is this album that I just put out.
Yeah.
You can't do that because you have all these other things going around. And I guess my question is, when you have all this other stuff, you're trying to push this new thing that came out, how do you make sure that, like, mentally you're good with, like, everything and you're not, like, draining yourself too far?
That's a great question. I think to-do lists really help keep me in check with like everything I know I have to get done. But I'm learning more than ever, like, take time for yourself. Don't feel guilty if you need to go to the gym or go skate or go on a walk just to clear your head. Like, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, like, that 10 minutes can make a whole difference in your life, you know? It can get overwhelming, especially because going back and forth between photography, videography, design, skating, clothing design, like,
It's a lot.
family, friends, eating, showering, going to bed. Like, there's a lot, you know? But it's fun. I think that's the one thing that keeps me going. Like, it doesn't feel like work to me. Like, if I want to do something, I'll pick up the computer or pick up the camera and make it happen, you know? And just doing what I enjoy, like, it doesn't weigh on me, especially if I take time for myself.
No, I think that's a big key at the end of the day, is making sure your cup's full and you're taking time for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When you're first, we didn't even touch on photography, which your pictures are all over the internet, which is crazy. We talked about
Thank
clothing
you.
and music and everything else, but I guess did that just kind of go hand in hand with graphic design when you're going to school for that, or what kind of inspired you to start shooting content, like pictures, all that? Because I feel like there's definitely like a passion piece for that too. Like, you see,
Yeah.
and maybe it's just because I see it because of the artists that you work with and stuff, but it's like you can tell it's like there's like whether it's the prism shots that you've done or like different stuff that has your like fingerprints on it.
I did have to take a photography class in college, but it was during COVID, so I opted in to use my phone. And I was also remote, so I would just go around, take a picture, submit it, be like, oh, I like this picture because the colors speak to me. Like, it was very, like,
Whatever you
boring.
made it what you wanted it to be at the time. Like,
Yeah, like, I didn't really have an interest in photography, but obviously making a million graphics, like, I'm working with a bunch of photos, and it's so annoying to look for the photo you want and it to not be there. So if I'm in control of the photos, like, I know what I could do when it comes to having the photo that I took and then incorporating that into a graphic. But even with photography, I don't think I considered myself a photographer at all. When I was in Nashville last time, I photographed the Astronomers and Kyle Hume concert. That was the first one I ever did. And then
How long ago was that?
that was in March.
Oh,
and then,
dang.
And then the next night was the Ollie Joseph show. Yeah, it was Ollie Joseph and Matt Corman. I did that show, but the lighting in that venue kind of sucked. So I'm like, I feel like these didn't like level up anything. It just kind of taught me more settings and stuff about my camera. And then when it came to Mike's Arizona show, that was my first time doing concert photography. And the last podcast I did was literally filmed an hour before I went to the venue. So I had no idea what was going to come from any of that. And I submitted those pictures, and I decided, like, I want to do this for the Steves. And, like, they were asking, like, can we, like, pay you for the pictures? I'm like, no, like, it's not about that. Like, I'm doing it so I can learn and just to enjoy this experience. Like, I do find a lot of passion in taking photos. And when I sent the Google Drive out to, like, all the Steves, I would just tell them, like, just shoot me a DM, I'll shoot you the drive link, and you'll get all the pictures. And when I did that, to see people change their profile picture to my pictures and them tell me, like, this is the best picture I've ever gotten of myself, or this is the best picture I have with my significant other, I'm like, whoa. Like, I thought I was just snapping a picture.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know people really, like, valued that. And, yeah, that show was super fun. And then the next one was Philly. That was my hometown show. And I got to take two of my best friends backstage with me.
So I think what you're getting at again with the photos is it's built a community. Like, cause you like even in like the Steve's group chats, like everyone's like these like you've cultivated a group of people that it's like an experience. Like having a JGRIFF photo is now like it's like a thing. It's like a piece.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for that to happen.
Yeah, but it is like it's a big deal, and it's like I think that people go so long in photography, and like obviously people do different types of photography. You can be more into like landscape or different things.
Yeah.
But like you can kind of see like the joy through the lens of it. Is that something that like you like pull into? This is a bad question.
No,
this is not worded well. But
no, I think it's a great question. I think right now, and I didn't really realize this till a couple weeks ago, but there's like a tagged in section of an Instagram feed or an Instagram profile.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go to my tagged in, it's just a bunch of people having the time of their life. And I'm like, this is crazy. And like even like at the Nashville show, there was a couple that got engaged, and I got to capture some of those moments, and they got some of those pictures framed, and I'm like, I got to be a part of this. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And the crazy thing about it is it's not even like, you know, people will do photography or get into wedding photography, and they'll work in their small town, or people know someone and they'll like refer someone to you. You're doing this across the country. Like you said, Arizona, Philly, Nashville, like it's like not just like a state or city thing. Like
This is all very new to me.
This is like nationwide.
Yeah, this is super new to me. I didn't travel solo till December. That was 2 months after I started working full time at Group, and it was our first Nashville retreat. That was my first time traveling solo. When I went to Arizona, that was my first time flying solo across the country, and I'm like, do I know how to navigate an airport? I'm 25 years old, and I don't know if I know how to do this. And yeah, I'm having the time of my life. Like, I feel like I'm doing stuff like that is making me feel confident. Like, oh, like, I'm more independent than I thought, and I'm able to just grow as a person. And then I go to these events. I have a great time. The people have a great time. And there's a lot of photos to look back on. I think just with the Upside Down tour, there's almost 1,000 good photos in the drive. I don't even want to know how many didn't make the cut. But
how do you go about managing your storage with something like that? When you have to worry about like designs for merch, music storage, camera storage.
That's a great question. I have 3 hard drives that are used primarily. One is all Stevenson Ranch. One is grouped in the artist community, and then just some like video editing assets. That one also has my music on it too, because a lot of times when I do content, I just want all my songs in one place so I can find everything. On the actual Mac itself, I store the Logic files there, and then like every year or every 2 years, I move like a whole year's worth of Logic files to the hard drive and just kind of create space on there. Adobe Creative Cloud to store more files.
More files?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's
And
everywhere.
I pride myself in really organizing my SD cards. Like, I don't let it get too crazy. I'm always going through reformatting and all that stuff. Because I'm so adamant on, like, I need to make sure I don't run into that. But, yeah, I try to stay as organized as I can, except my desktop right now has, like, every file in the world on it. Like, it fills up so quick, especially working here for the month.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So how does, you worked here for a month now, you've been local in Nashville, you're going back home soon here. What is the transition of life going forward? Over the last 6 months, you've gone from just really being in your hometown to being all over the world, really. Like, I mean, this month you've been here, but before that, the 4 months prior, you were bouncing all over the place. What does it look like going back and being in the same place now? For at least now, is what it looks like.
I don't know what it looks like because I'm not back yet. I'll shoot you a text tomorrow and let you know. But I think going forward, I do want to travel more. I love traveling. Kind of like the unknown. It used to scare me, but now it's exciting. It pushes me out of my comfort zone. And even like, I went to the LA show for Mike, and in LA, I tried so many new things, like crazy things for me. Might not be crazy for most people, but like I did roller coasters for the first time and like rides that drop from really high, like so out of my comfort zone. I tried a strawberry for the first time. It's like crazy stuff. I know that sounds
but
wild,
it's new for you.
but it's new for me, and I'm already seeing the comments now. Don't but,
the man's never had a strawberry.
But then in Nashville, it's like I started making a whole nother list of things that I've never done. Like, I went to a waterfall with like Ron, Cam, and Allie, and that was so much fun. I've never been under a waterfall. I tell people I don't do water, and I just did it.
And also dropped a song called Underwater at the same.
Yeah, I did. That just happened to work out.
Yeah, that happened to be a good promotion at the same time.
Great promo on total accident. But yeah, it's like doing all that new stuff kind of makes me be like, oh, if I travel more, I'll continue to try new things and just be encouraged by great people. And yeah, I do really love Pennsylvania. I got my whole family in like a 25-minute radius, and I have a dope little setup for my bedroom and a studio setup, and yeah, I just love it out there. I don't know if I want to totally jump away from that just yet, but with that being said, I would love to go to Nashville a lot more often, hopefully like once a month, and see what we can do from there.
See what growing. Now, you mentioned this list that you made of new things that you want to try. What would you say, like, if there's one thing, we got 5 months, or less than 5 months, we got like 4 months left of this year, it's crazy. If there's one thing that would be at the top of your list to add or check off from that list before the year comes to an end, what would it be?
That's a great question, and I don't have a bucket list. Like, these were all things that just kind of happened in the moment, and I'm like, oh, I've never done that, I've never done this. But I don't have a list of like things I want to do or things I haven't done. So I would need to think on that a little bit. But yeah, I think as long as I'm being me, having fun and surrounding myself with good people, and not putting myself in danger.
Not too much danger. A little bit of danger is okay.
A little bit's fine.
Yeah.
I'm down to try new things. So I think personally, with all the trying new things, like just being being and feeling healthier and just really liking who I am. I'm feeling super good about the rest of the year, feeling super good about next year, and I never thought I would like be where I am. So this is all kind of like a dream for me. It's more than a dream. Like, it's real life. I couldn't dream this. Like, everything lined up so perfectly in a way.
Yeah.
And I don't know where life's gonna take me, but I'm ready for it.
I love that. I feel like that's the perfect way to end this. I feel like we have to end on that. Yeah, wherever life takes you is where we're going.